A dramatic conclusion to the labor dispute at Hyundai Motors. The union and management make a deal after 4 months of wage disputes. COP12, a UN-affiliated environmental conference, will soon open in Pyeongchang, Gangwon Province. And tourists coming to Korea often find themselves baffled by mismatched or even misleading English descriptions of their destinations. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Tuesday, September 30th. I'm Luke Clary. Korea's largest carmaker, Hyundai Motors, has been at the center of a tense standoff between labor and management. The two sides came to a tentative wage deal Monday night, a dramatic conclusion after months of debate.
The labor union and management of automaker Hyundai Motor agreed to a tentative wage deal Monday evening, capping off 8 hours of marathon talks punctuated by recesses. This comes 4 months after two sides launched negotiations in June.
노사 모두가 회사의 미래 발전을 위한 양보와 이해가 있었기에 이번 잠정 합의안을 마련할 수 있었습니다.
The labor union and management were able to agree on the biggest point of contention regarding employee bonuses being considered as part of ordinary wages. They agreed to further discuss the matter in the coming days from a broader standpoint in terms of the whole industry and the country, not just as an individual firm. To this end, the labor and management agreed to form a separate consultative body called the Wage System Improvement Committee, which aims to introduce an advanced system that includes a scheme for ordinary wages. The two sides also agreed on a wage hike of $93, performance-based pay of 300% plus $4,700, and employment guarantee through the age of 60. The dramatic deal has been struck after 6 rounds of labor strikes. The two sides are believed to have reached a point of common ground regarding managerial woes, including the falling Korean won-to-U.S. dollar exchange rate. The labor strife has cost Hyundai Motor the production of 42,000 cars worth over $850 million.
The 12th meeting of the Conference of the Parties to the Convention on Biological Diversity, or simply COP12 for short, will be held in Pyeongchang, Gangwon Province for 3 weeks with representatives from some 190 countries in attendance. The meeting will discuss various ways to protect biodiversity.
This pharmaceutical company imports ingredients from China to produce a medicine for gastritis. It is now on emergency alert as it will have to pay some of its profits to China. The Nagoya Protocol, which will take effect on October 12th, stipulates that users of biological resources must give part of their profits to the resource providers. About half of all medications are made with animal or vegetable extracts.
개별 기업 혼자서 대응하기에는 약간 좀 부족한 부분이 있습니다. 정부에 많은 지원을 요청하고 있습니다.
52 countries have ratified the Nagoya Protocol. Korea can no longer put it off. Putting the protocol into effect will deal a direct blow to South Korean companies that import biological resources.
Affects the interests of indigenous and local communities, affects the interests of the academy, of industry, and of governments.
The agenda for the Pyeongchang meeting includes measures to promote peace by preserving biodiversity in the demilitarized zone. It remains to be seen whether North Korea would accept the South Korean Environment Ministry's invitation.
남북 간의 생태계 보전 협력 내지는 남북 간의 교류 협력의 물꼬가 될 수 있는 그런 계기가 될 수 있다고 봅니다.
Participating countries will discuss the common goal of protecting biodiversity at the Pyeongchang meeting. But at the same time, they will also fiercely but silently be carrying out a diplomatic war to promote their own national interests.
The bereaved family members of the Sewol victims have entered a new phase of strife with accusations of assault and internal disputes between various factions. Here's a closer look at the new challenges facing the families who've already been through so much.
The police have requested arrest warrants for 3 family members of the victims of the Sewol ferry sinking on charges of using violence against a designated driver for hire and pedestrians. They are Kim Byung-kwon, former chief of a task force composed of family members of the victims, as well as Kim Hyung-gi and Han Sang-chul, who've both served on the task force as senior members. The police defended their warrant requests, saying the one-sided beating perpetrated by the 3 men is serious in nature. The police added that there's also concerns of evidence destruction as the men deny the charges. The police have also notified Representative Kim Hyun of the main opposition New Politics Alliance for Democracy to show up for questioning by Friday, as she's been accused by the on-call designated driver. Meanwhile, at the joint memorial altar for the ferry victims set up by the government in Ansan, Gyeonggi province, the family members have split in two. The families of victims that did not attend Danwon High School have moved their portraits and tablets of 31 of their loved ones to an altar in Incheon. Their decision was unanimous as they protested a remark made by a spokesman for the task force representing victims' families. The spokesman had said families of the regular victims had met with the ruling party chief.
김무성 새누리당 대표는 만나지도 못했는데 만났다고 허위 사실을 날조하고 청와대라는 쪽지를 보고 재합의안을 수용했다는 유언비어를.
The atmosphere is also tense in the community gymnasium in Jindo Island, where family members of the missing victims are staying. The victims' families are asking local residents to understand their grief, while the locals have requested they vacate the gym in consideration of the livelihood of the community. The victims' families task force will meet with the Jindo Island Residents Committee and Oceans and Fisheries Minister Lee Ju-young at the Jindo County office on Wednesday to discuss solutions for the predicament.
The government estimates the annual number of incoming foreign tourists at 10 million, but tourists are often confused with mismatched or even misleading English descriptions of tourist destinations.
The Dongdaemun neighborhood in Seoul attracts over 1 million foreign tourists a year. A survey of directional signs there shows that there is a lack of unity in English place names. Gyeonghwa Market is shown as Peace Market on one information board, but it is marked in its Romanized name on another. In describing malls, two adjacent information boards respectively use the English term shopping center and the Romanized version of the Korean word sanga.
こちらの地図はちょっと分かりにくいです。発音と表示が違ったりするので。
The confusing English descriptions are even more serious in Hannam-dong in central Seoul, a neighborhood in which many foreign embassies are located. This map shows the Romanized spelling of the Korean name for South Africa.
The Namaporika Gongwongguk Embassy, I don't know what it is.
The proper official English names of countries are rarely used on information boards. The same is found for descriptions of popular tourist attractions representing Korea, like Gyeongbokgung Palace and Namdaemun Gate. It is considered best to use the Romanized version first, followed by English explanations describing the names of locations. However, such information boards are difficult to find.
표기사항의 그 문제점들을 좀 지속적으로 개선을 해 나가도록 자치구와 좀 협의를 해 나가.
Approximately 8 million tourists visited Korea from January to July this year. It appears that efforts made for the convenience of foreign visitors are still insufficient.
A special law on child abuse took effect on Monday, toughening sentencing for those who abuse society's youngest and most vulnerable people. But the law's effectiveness is under question as there are only 50 child protection facilities nationwide tasked with monitoring and prevention duties. These facilities are also short-staffed.
At 8:30 p.m., counselors from a child protection facility visit this house. Their duty is to inspect the child care environment of this home where child abuse was reported in the past.
그만큼 잘 이렇게 보여주시는 게 중요한 것 같아요. 그리고 이 마음이 변치 않아야 된다는 거죠.
The monitors must visit these homes at least 5 to 6 times to prevent the recurrence of abuse. But there are only 9 such counselors from this particular facility, which oversees 5 nearby cities. One person is handling some 150 cases each year. In July, the Health and Welfare Ministry announced planned legislation to increase the number of child abuse counselors. But the bill was eventually dropped over budget concerns.
상담원 수가 부족하게 되면 그만큼 그 아동 학대 피해 아동에 대한 서비스의 질이 떨어질 수 있는 부분이 있기 때문에 그런 점에서 이 상담원의 수도 늘려야 되고.
Despite requests for an annual budget of over $750,000 per facility, the Finance Ministry only allotted about $280,000.
국가가 책임을 외면하게끔 그냥 방치해두고 아동보호 전문기관을 계속 민간에서 운영을 해야 되는 것인가라는 것에 대한 진지한 고민을 할 수밖에 없는 상황입니다.
Last year in Korea, 22 children died from abusive acts by adults, including their own parents. This year, reports on child abuse are up 40%. But the facilities fighting cases of abuse struggle to perform due to insufficient government support.
Bullfrogs are known to do harm to the ecosystem in Korea. Domestic scientists have confirmed that the foreign species is disrupting the Korean ecosystem by eating birds or even mammals, which are usually higher than bullfrogs on the food chain.
A 30-centimeter-long bullfrog hunts and devours a snake that is longer than its own body. The National Institute of Environmental Research conducted a study on what bullfrogs eat from April to August. Researchers captured some 130 bullfrogs from wetlands in Changneung, South Gyeongsang Province. By analyzing the contents of their stomachs, it was confirmed that bullfrogs even eat birds and mammals which are higher than they are on the food chain. The frogs hunt tilts and field mice, disrupting the wetlands food chain. The study found that bullfrogs eat 60 different species of animals. Their main prey are insects like mole crickets and pond skaters, which account for 65% of the bullfrog's diet. Bullfrogs even eat poisonous insects like wasps. Frogs indigenous to Korea account for 7% of the bullfrog's prey.
굉장히 큰 덩치를 가지고 있기 때문에 상위에 해당하는 다른 조류나 심지어 포유류까지도 이런 포식 습성이 나타나게 되겠고.
Bullfrogs live across the nation. They are extremely prolific, with each female capable of spawning up to 40,000 eggs. As a result, their numbers are rapidly increasing. Experts say that it is a matter of great urgency to protect the ecosystem by eliminating bullfrogs and their eggs.
Nuclear reactors that are under construction in Korea have been found to be poorly prepared for emergencies compared to reactors built for export to other countries. The issue could stir controversy at parliamentary inspections.
These are the Shin-Gwori reactors 3 and 4 under construction by the Korea Hydro and Nuclear Power Company. They are advanced pressurized reactors with a 1,400 megawatt generating capacity and were developed using Korean technologies. In 2009, nuclear reactors of this model were exported to the United Arab Emirates, and soon they may be exported to Finland as well. All of these reactors have identical specifications, but their safety designs are different. Reactors built for export have reinforced walls or dual containment structures to prepare for powerful shocks such as aircraft crashes, whereas the reactors 3 and 4 don't have those features. They don't have emergency diesel engine generators and storage batteries, which are needed to power the cooling system during blackouts. Korea Hydro and Nuclear Power says the Shin-Gwori reactors 3 and 4 meet international safety standards and that the reactors for export have more safety features only because the importing countries requested them.
국제원자력기구, 미국 원자력 규제기관 등에서 요구하는 국제적 안전 기준은 차이가 없고 최종적으로는 해당 국가의 규제기관이 안전성을 확인하고 있습니다.
However, many say that nuclear reactors must be designed with the worst-case scenarios in mind to ensure their safety.
앞으로 새로 지을 원전 같은 경우에는 해외 수출용 우리 원전의 안전 기준에 어느 정도는 좀 근접하거나 아니면 그 이상이 될 수 있도록 저희들이 좀 검토를 국회 차원에서 해야 된다고 저는 생각이 듭니다.
The Korea Hydro and Nuclear Power Company added that it's working on improving safety designs of new reactor models that are still under development to meet the stricter safety standards set by other countries.
Autumn is in full swing in Korea with cosmos flowers in full bloom. Many regions across the nation are hosting autumn festivals, drawing scores of visitors.
Dominic Miller from Argentina is lauded the world over for performing some of the most beautiful guitar tunes in the history of pop music. Pianist Jan Lundgren from Sweden is known for his sentimental music. These renowned musicians will perform at the 11th Charasom International Jazz Festival to be held next month on Chara Island in Gapyeong, Gyeonggi Province. The Charasom International Jazz Festival is a top Asian music festival that draws some 200,000 visitors annually. This year, it will feature more than 50 top-notch musicians and groups from Korea and abroad who will stage romantic and passionate performances. Guri Hangang Citizens Park is to host a festival of cosmos blossoms featuring purple blossoms under the autumn sky. The festival will be held on a 12-hectare area by the Han River and will feature musical concerts. At the Namsadang Baodeogi Festival in Ansong, visitors will be able to watch the Korean folk performance Namsadang Nori, which is included in the UNESCO Intangible Cultural Heritage List. The festival will also feature a colorful and exciting parade called Gilnori as well as fireworks. The Goyang Lake Park Arts Festival in Gyeonggi Province, entering its 6th installment this year, aims to impress visitors with street plays, puppet shows, and dance concerts staged by more than 70 art troupes from Korea and abroad.
We often see cosmetics or food and beverage firms conduct customer surveys to reflect the requests and improve on product quality. Nowadays, businesses even borrow and learn from customer ideas from the product development stage.
This is a store selling daily necessities in Seoul's Gangnam area. Of the numerous items sold here, we're told a particular invention is a hot seller. This electric cord organizing box is very useful to sort out electric cords that get tangled so often. How did this idea come about?
청소를 아무리 열심히 해도 선들이 이렇게 많이 엉켜 있어서 항상 이게 너무 지저분하다는 게 고민이었습니다. 거기다가 애들이 만약에 이걸 만진다면은 이게 너무 위험하겠다는 생각이 들더라고요.
Many people have experienced it. You sit down at your desk to get some study done, and the next minute, your legs are caught up in the wires. It gets on your nerves to just let it go. You try winding the cables into a coil or tying them with a string, but it's far from easy to tie the wires down neatly. Entangled wires always bothered Lee Myung-woo. After much thought, he came up with the idea of an organizing box that also doubled as a multi-tap. Inconvenience led to inspiration, which he managed to bring to an idea platform company where his idea came to life as a creative product.
상상만으로만 생각했던 제품이 실제로 나왔다는 것을 보고 너무 이렇게 기뻤고 행복했습니다. 플랫폼이 완비된 업체와 같이 이제 작업을 하다 보니까 이게 쉽게 풀어지기도 하고 제가 미처 생각지 못했던 부분들도 이분들의 아이디어를 통해서 많이 이렇게 접목이 돼 감에 따라서 조금 더 완성도 있는 제품이 나오게 됐다고 생각합니다.
In just 6 months, the product posted sales of over $287,000. Part of the profit goes to the idea developer. We need not go far to look for more such examples of consumer ideas transforming our lives. There's been a trend in the construction sector that started just a few years ago. Ideas born by housewives are turned into reality in various apartment spaces. For instance, take this mirror inside a powder room.
화장대를 깨끗하게 보관하기 위해서 내부에 수납형으로 들어가 있고요. 이렇게 화장을 하시면서 휴지도 한 번에 같이 뽑아서 사용하실 수 있는 용이한 공간을 디자인을 했습니다.
When designing an apartment unit, it's said that suitability for housewives should be considered as foremost, as mothers stay at home for the longest hours. At this building firm, mom's ideas are reflected in spaces all over the house. This is why some kind of storage feature is built into any nook and cranny space available. The days are gone when consumers literally just consume. Businesses are hungry for innovation, and consumer ideas can be realized as actual products these days. Don't hesitate to suggest any of your ideas that come along now and then. Who knows how far they'll go.
And now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. That's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Have a great day.